Alright everybody, how is it going? It is Tuesday, December 11th, 2018, and we just finished with Week 14 in the NFL, so of course we have our Week 14 NFL Pick'em results to go over, so let's get right into this video. Thursday Night Football, of course, we had the Tennessee Titans hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars, and of course what was a very boring game in which the Jaguars just kind of quit playing in the second half. The Titans ran all over their defense. Derrick Henry went for what, like 200, like 30 plus yards in a game. Incredible performance by the Titans. I really like what I seen out of the running game. Derrick Henry finally kind of played up to what he should be. And the Jaguars, it's obvious they're done for the year. They're gonna go like 4-12. They don't care. They quit and they quit on prime time. So that is what it is. And we also seen a hilarious flop by Jalen Ramsey. So we got that game correct. We almost got the score. We missed it by about 10 points. That's all right. 1-0 on our pick'em results. Then we go to Sunday 1 p.m. and then we had the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills. I'll be honest, I didn't watch this game. I don't think a lot of people did. When you have a 3-9 team taking on a 4-8 team, unless you're a fan of like both of these teams or one of these teams, you didn't really watch it. 27-23, the Jets beat the Bills, I guess. We got this one wrong, but we almost got it right. The Jets just scored one more touchdown than I thought they were capable of getting. So, sorry, I'm kind of gassy. I don't know why. This game sucks. Both teams are 4-9, and who really cares? um, and then we had the Carolina Panthers heading into Cleveland, and what you can consider an upset. But if you subscribe to this channel and you watch the way I pick games, you knew that I had already thought the Browns were going to win this. Carolina can't win on the road, and they proved it again this week. They failed to have like a game-winning comeback drive, blah blah blah. Newton threw like shit again, and the Panthers are looking like a very mediocre team. I think they might go 7-9 at best. They play the Saints this next weekend, and that'll make them go to 6-8. They're way out, and they just look bad. Christian McCaffrey's having a good year, so that's a big plus sign if you're a Panthers fan. But that's about all. That's a plus this year. And then the Browns, of course, they won 26-20 to improve to 5-7-1, having a great year, all things considering. Losing all your games the year before that and only winning like 2 the 3 years combined. It's been a bad stretch for the Cleveland Browns, but this year has got to have erased some of those sour feelings and give some hope to a franchise that's been completely hopeless. So good job, Cleveland, 5-7-1. Having a good year. And the week after the Packers fired Mike McCarthy, we all knew this was going to happen. We all kind of predicted that the Packers were going to play way above their level this season. They were going to look really good doing it. And that's exactly what happened. The Packers won this game handily, 34-20, to save their season, keep themselves at 5-7-1. They have to win the next, 3 games to go 8-7-1, and a lot of things have to happen for them. But they could still maybe get in. We'll see about that. Because I honestly think an 8-8 team's going to win that other wild card team spot in the NFC. I'm not sure which team it will be, but when you look at the teams that are all like 6-7 in the NFC, or 5-7, or like 6-6 or whatever with the ties, they all don't have schedules that favor them. Like they all play some really rough teams this week. Like the Eagles got to play the Rams, the Panthers got to play the Saints. It's like all these teams are going to go to 8 losses. And that's going to pretty much widen this field for a lot of teams who might be 5-8, the Giants, Lions. You got to watch out for those two teams. They're playing pretty hot, and the Lions have a very sneaky good defense. Like I said, 5-8 or 8-8 might make the playoffs in the NFC, depending on how everything shakes out. Let's see. Indianapolis, in my opinion, upset the Houston Texans in Houston, of all places. That snaps the Texans' 9-game winning streak. And the Colts actually showed that, yeah, we're still alive, we're still a threat, we're still a viable team within the AFC. Do not forget about the Indianapolis Colts, and, they look good winning. That was an impressive win. They won on the road. They get Dallas at home next week because of it. I think they're going to win that one. Dallas wins most of their games close and at home, so we'll see how that plays out. Houston, of course, suffers a tough loss, but didn't lose any ground in the AFC. So that's good. They stay on pace with the Patriots. They stay, wherever they were I think they were the 3rd seed or the 4th seed. I'm not really sure, but they hang on to that. Oh, 3rd seed, sorry. So, 24-21, they were upset by the Colts, though. The Colts keeping their season alive. Luck playing out of his mind. It's It might be a fun time to be a Houston fan, especially going forward, considering the future. You draft another playmaker at receiver, and you got yourself a weird little team. But 7-6, 9-4, good seasons for the Texans and Colts so far. That brought us to a 3-2 record because of a couple of the Jets winning and the Texans win and the Colts winning kind of threw us off. We didn't really pick those two to win. It happens though. It's hard to predict some of these bad teams when they play each other because you're not really sure. And with the Texans and the Colts, somebody had to eventually beat the Texans. I didn't really think it would have been the Colts after their performance against the Jaguars, but they proved everybody wrong, and they still could win this division if everything falls right. Sunday, 1 p.m. games continued. We have the Kansas City Chiefs hosting the Baltimore Ravens in an overtime thriller. This was a great fucking game. I don't really know what else I can really say about it other than this was just a fun football game. Lead changes, comebacks late. Let's see. I believe Lamar Jackson took his team down he plays for Baltimore. He took his team down late to get the lead. They took the lead. The Ravens were winning the game, and then Patrick Mahomes comes in and makes this beautiful 4th and 7 pass, like a no-looker on the sideline to convert on 4th down. One of the biggest plays in the game, and then that leads to a Kansas City touchdown. It was 17-24 when he made that throw, and that forced overtime, of course, to make it 24-24. And then the Chiefs won on their next. They kicked a field goal to, I believe, win the game. And then the Ravens came on and had their chance to do whatever, but the Ravens defense or the Chiefs defense actually did something and stopped the team, giving the Chiefs the win, bringing them to 11-2. This was a pretty wild game because there was like a 2-minute span in which the Patriots were leading the Dolphins, and the Ravens were leading the Chiefs, and the entire football world was like, holy shit, the Patriots are about to get the #1 seed in the AFC this weekend. This is fucking terrible. And then the Chiefs came to life and won the game, and saved the AFC from having to go through Foxborough again. I don't think the Patriots can get home field. It's pretty much a dead dream. So it is what it is on that. Looks like everyone's going to have to go to Arrowhead to play this team, depending on what happens with the Chargers this weekend. But I don't really think that matters too much. But I think the Chargers are losing that game. We'll talk about that in the picks video. But this was a great game. The Ravens are fun. Joe Flacco will be back. We'll see how interesting that'll be for the Ravens going forward. The Ravens are 7-6, 11-2 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Should the Ravens win this weekend, they'll be 8-6. Should the Steelers lose, all of a sudden we have a new team in first place. So I think a lot of Ravens fans better be cheering for the Patriots this weekend. Speaking of the Patriots, they lost 34-33 on a bullshit fucking miracle play at the end of the game. Next game. The New Orleans Saints beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a pretty much a duh game. Even though the game started out like 14-0 for whatever reason, the Buccaneers came out on fire. They're 5-8. They're also a team that if a bunch of teams lose next week, their season's literally still alive. Like they're not even close to out. Like I said, a bunch of 6 and 7 teams that are in the hunt are playing teams they're going to lose to more than likely, like the Eagles, the Seahawks, or the Rams. Or the Seahawks, whatever, Eagles. It's just a shit show. You'll see in the picks videos. It's incredible how many teams are going to be 6-8 next week. It's going to be an incredible amount of teams in the NFC. I don't think the Buccaneers were one of them, because I can't recall who they play. But I don't know. There's not much to say about this. And then in the second half, the Saints scored 28 unanswered points and won the game. They're 11-2. Yeah, they're the #1 seed in the NFC again because of that. Because the Bears ended up beating the Rams. We'll get to that later. So I don't know. Not much to say there. This is hilarious. The Giants beat the shit right out of the quarterbackless Redskins. This is what you get when you didn't go sign Colin Kaepernick. Instead, you went and signed Sanchez the minute Smith went down. You should have signed motherfucking Colin Kaepernick. Now look at you, Washington. You're about to go 6-8 next week. This is another team, 6-7. They're going to be 6-8 next week because they go into Jacksonville, and Mark Sanchez is not going to win that game. It's going to be a battle of which quarterback's the worst, and it's always Mark Sanchez. Bortles could start that game and beat the Redskins next week. It don't matter. Redskins are trash. They're going 6-10. They conceded the season. Giants scored 40 points. Looked good doing it. Beat up on a defense that's actually pretty good. They're 5-8. Like I said, next week if they win, they're one of the like 7, 6, and 8 teams contending for the last playoff spot, and I think the Vikings are losing out. To be honest with you, after what I just seen on that Monday Night Football game last night, that was fucking disgusting. So yeah, the Vikings are gonna go like 6-9-1. So I think they're horrible. That offense is atrocious. Should have kept Case, but that brought us to 6-3. We only got one of these game wrong. We're not gonna talk about which one I got wrong. We all know which game I got wrong. So 6-3. Fuck the goddamn Dolphins. I hate them so much. They're 7-6. The Patriots are 9-4. Blah blah blah. I didn't really go over the records. And then in a pretty big game, I didn't watch it. Don't know what happened. It was a lot closer than I thought. Good job for the Bengals to put up 21 points. That worries me considering the Chargers have to play the Chiefs next week. I'm kind of looking at that going, how the hell did Joe Driscoll and Tom Savage, like I don't know who plays quarterback for them, put up 21 points? That's a little makes me look at that Chargers defense and go, what's going on over there? You know, it's like, huh, boy oh boy. And then okay, but the Bengals are pretty well out at 5-8, so we can just kind of. But Andy Dalton's gone, so the season's over. If he was playing, I think the Bengals would have upset the Chargers this week. To be fully honest with you, they almost played spoiler for this team, but they won 26-21. The Chargers did to improve to 10-3 to set up that matchup on Thursday night with the Chiefs. Everybody's excited. We're all rock hard for it. I'm excited. So anyway, let's go to the next 4 p.m. game. I got the Chiefs winning that game, but let's see. The Denver Broncos went and played the San Francisco 49ers in the biggest upset of the weekend. They lost 20-14. The San Francisco started out with 20 unanswered points, and then Denver answered with 14 in the second half, unable to do anything. Garrett George or whatever his name, Kittle, I don't know what his name is. Kittle, the tight end for the 49ers, had like 210 yards, just short of Shannon Sharp's all-time record for a tight end in a game. He had a great game, even though they didn't do anything in the second half. Didn't really need to, as they held on to win 20-14. Embarrassing loss for the Broncos on the road. That really hurts their season and could potentially be the end of it. Because you got a lot of good-ass teams in the AFC. You've got, you know, the loser of the AFC West, which will probably be the Chargers, has the 1 seed. And then you have teams like Baltimore, the Colts, all fighting for that number 6 seed. So the Broncos are probably well out, and those are 7-6 teams. Broncos needed a win to, you know, it's probably over. Lions dominated the Cardinals 17-3. I'm not going to bore you with much analyzing of this because nobody watched this game. The Lions are 5-8, still alive considering the NFC. Like I said, a lot of 6 and 7 teams are going to go 6-8. Lions all of a sudden could win next week. They play the Bills 6-8. Like I've said, watch out for 8-8 teams. Cardinals are 3-10, terrible. And then what was the highest rated football game, I believe? It was the most watched game of the NFL season this year. It was the Philadelphia Eagles heading into Dallas for first place in the NFC East. And this was one hell of a game that went down to overtime. And on overtime, you had I think it was like a 9-minute drive in overtime. And then Prescott throws a pass to Amari. Amari bats it up, and then he makes a good adjustment, catches it, and runs in for a touchdown. Was one hell of a play. What a great catch by Amari to stay focused on the ball after it was batted up and bring it in and have the field awareness to turn around and run upfield for the touchdown. Great win by Dallas, even though, you know, it's another close win at home. And that kind of worries me about the Cowboys. They win all these games close at home. I wonder how that's going to play out when they have to go play in Indianapolis next week. I don't think they're going to win because of the situation and the team they're playing. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. The Cowboys have been proving a lot of people wrong all year. That's all they've done. And maybe if they could beat the Colts, I'll take that as their statement win this year, and then I'll stop being so negative on this team. But I really can't find much negative to say. Great defense, and they're fucking Prescott's playing really well with Cooper. And Zeke is Zeke. I've never said a foul word about it. Elliott, he's great. And then, actually, I spoke too soon on the Broncos getting upset by the 49ers because I completely forgot. The Oakland Raiders upset the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big Ben is now 0-4 in Oakland. As you can tell, he just doesn't win in Oakland. That's fine. The Raiders are 3-10. So I think they still hold the number 1 pick in the draft. So they said, fuck it, let's win this one. And then that led to McKenzie being fired, the Raiders GM. Now they have full faith in Gruden and what he's doing because I think the Raiders kind of showed what they're capable of and then brought it back into their chest really fast. You know what I mean? They just wanted to go, hey, this is what we really are. Watch out for next year when we actually try and put together the team Gruden wants. Watch out for the Raiders next year. I think this is a very big smokescreen. They're going to get rid of Carr here pretty quickly, and I don't know where he's going, but there's going to be a lot of hungry teams. Um, and the Steelers, dude, they stink. I don't know why anyone was fooled by a weird 6-game winning streak they had in the middle of the season, but they started like what 0-2-1 or 1-2-1 and then won a few straight, and now they're losing all these other games to shitty teams, and they got to go play New England. They're not winning. They're not going to beat New England if this team shows up. The team that's been playing the last few weeks, Pittsburgh's been atrocious. They're not going to beat the Patriots if they keep playing shitty mistake-filled football. So, sorry if you're a Steelers fan, but I think you're about to have to compete in that tight-ass wild card now, and you don't want to be competing in the wild card. Baltimore very well could snake the division from you next week. And that brought me to 9-5 on my pick'em for the week. I was a little pissed off because a lot of these teams shouldn't have lost to who they lost to. But it is what it is. Any given Sunday, these are all professional athletes. Let's go to Sunday and Monday Night Football. This game I was dead wrong on. Thought there'd be some more offense than there was. Dead fucking wrong. Bears, once again, this was their statement win. This was the big win every team looks for in a season. When you're looking at playoff teams, you like to look at their schedule. You like to see the game, and you go, oh, shit, okay. And this was the, oh, shit, okay. The Bears' defense is really real. They held the Rams to 6 points, the worst game in Sean McVay's career in the regular season. Just bad. The Bears played tremendous defensive football. Offensively, they played garbage. I think Trubisky had like 4 interceptions, like 13 for 30 or something. They managed to get 15 points on the board despite poor play on offense. Their defense, though, that is one special thing. You're going to have to be very good to beat Chicago in Chicago. But the fortunate thing for the Rams is they're going to get most of their playoff games are going to be played in Los Angeles unless they have to play the Saints. So, whatever. Rams aren't built for the cold weather. I was wrong. It happens. Rams fall to 11-2 in second place now in the NFC overall. And the Chicago Bears, 9-4. This guy. Have they locked up the NFC North at this point? They have to have it locked up because even if they lost out and went 9-7, oh no, Packers I guess could catch them. No, the Packers can only go 8-7-1 at this point. Yeah. So yeah, I think the Bears have won the NFC North. So congratulations to Chicago. You are the NFC North champions, I believe. Shocking everybody in my opinion. I had them as the dark horse to do this if you look at my predictions, but I did not really think Khalil Mack was going to make that big of a difference, but apparently he did. All the difference in the world. Good job, John Gruden. Should have paid the man. And then, of course, we had an embarrassing performance by the Minnesota Vikings that has actually led to the offensive coordinator being fired. Like, that's actually the problem when it's Kirk Cousins now 5-13 in primetime games. Told you he's the Andy Dalton of the NFC. Andy Dalton 6-13. Actually, we're going to stop calling him the Andy Dalton of the NFC because Andy Dalton actually has won one more game than him on primetime football. Congratulations, Minnesota. You've overpaid for a fucking Andy Dalton. Why do teams overpay for Andy Dalton? The Bengals gave him over $100 million. They overpaid for Kirk Cousins. Like in Case Keenum, 12-4 on like a worse team. Okay, what is this? Yeah, this is pathetic. The Vikings are an embarrassing football team. Probably going to go 6-9 because they have that tie. So 6-9-1. Meanwhile, the Seahawks 8-5 in the wild card, looking pretty. I'm pretty sure next week if they win, they lock up a playoff berth. So congratulations to the Seahawks. You control your own destiny. You control, I believe you're going to have to go play the Bears. So congratulations on that, Seattle getting that number 3 spot. Or no, I think you actually get the break and you get to go play Dallas. So, I mean, that's actually not that bad of a game. But you don't want to be the 6th seed that wins, honestly, because then you got to play the motherfucking Bears. Congratulations, you're in the playoffs. What do we get? You get to go play in Chicago. Congratulations. Oh, fuck. All right. But that brought us to 10-6 on the week. Kind of a regression from last week when we went 11-5. But this week was full of a lot of tough games and a lot of weird games like the Broncos, of course. and the Bears and Rams, tough to choose. You know, it happens. It's that time of year when teams get upset pretty regularly because of teams wanting to play spoiler. There's pride on the line for some of these guys. And, you know, good teams play a little lazy at the end of the season to protect their team. Teams like the Rams, when they're 11-1, they're in. They don't care. Why are they going to get hurt and risk it? The Saints, why get hurt and risk it? Save it for the playoffs. I understand it. It's upset season right now. Spoiler season. All right, anyway, so 10-6 on the week. That brought, our overall record for, coming into this week was 110, 77 and 2. We improved on it pretty well to 120, 83 and 2, and that will end our NFL Week 14 Pick'em results video. So thank you guys so much for liking the NFL Week 14 picks and all the other stuff I've done in the past week. I really appreciate all the views, the likes, the new subscribers. Hello, welcome to the channel. If you're new to the channel, after watching this video, please subscribe. Like the video if you like what was going on, if you had a good week, if you didn't have a good week, whatever. Leave a comment down below and I'll be 100% sure to get back to it. I've done it in many videos in the past, as you can tell by you can see in all the picks videos, there's like almost 200 comments. And that's because I get back to everybody as soon as I can and as often as I can, so we can continue the conversation. And it's just fun. It's about building and building and building. It's fun. Thank you guys again for listening to this DrTV presentation. I hope your team's doing well this season. If not, root against your fucking most hated team. That's what I do when I'm a Lions fan and the season's over. So I just root against the Packers when it's bad. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and keep an eye out for that Week 15 picks video. It's coming soon. See you later. Bye.